अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
वालेकुम डॉक्टर सादिया, क्या हाल है आपका? ठीक है आप?
बिल्कुल मैम, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह फाइन, ठीक ठाक।
डॉक्टर माहिदा, आप प्लीज अपनी स्लाइड शेयर करें। थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर नाइला, आपकी मुझे स्लाइड मिल गई थी एंड इट इज़ ए वेरी गुड प्रेजेंटेशन, और उसमें आपने ऐड भी कर दिया डिफरेंसेस, दैट इज ए नाइस थिंग। डॉक्टर माहिदा, प्लीज शेयर योर स्लाइड्स। ओके, वी कैन सी इट नाउ। Please, Dr. Maida, start your presentation.
जी मैम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। Your mind is a powerful thing. When you fill it with the positive thoughts, your life will start to change. Today, my topic of presentation is tetanus. Learning outlines. It's tetanus introduction, epidemiological triad, chain of transmission, clinical features, level of prevention, and the recent advances. At the end of the session, students will be able to know what the tetanus and its trend in the whole world. What is tetanus? Tetanus derives from a Greek word tetnos, which means to contract. Tetanus was first described in Egypt over 3,000 years ago, and then by the Hippocrates. Tetanus is an acute and fatal disease caused by an exotoxin produced by the bacterium Clostridium tetani, characterized by rigidity and spasm. Tetanus remains a major health problem in the developing countries and is still encountered in the developed world. There are about 8 lakh per million deaths due to tetanus each year. Majority of the new cases of the tetanus occur in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, accounts for about 82% of all tetanus cases globally. Now the epidemiological triad, which consists of agent, host, and environment. Agent. Clostridium tetani is a gram-positive anaerobic spore-bearing bacterium which produce two potential exotoxins, tetanolysins, the function of which is unknown, and the tetanospasmin, which is a neurotoxin, causes the clinical manifestation of tetanus. The lethal dose of tetanospasmin in the human is 2.5 nanogram per kg. This figure shows the causative organism Clostridium tetani. The round terminal spores give the cells a drumstick or the tennis racket appearance, which is shown there. The spores of the tetanus are highly resistant to phenol, boiling, cresol, but can be destroyed by steam under pressure at 120 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes and by the gamma radiations. This figure shows the vegetative cell of the Clostridium tetani and the cell with the terminal spore. This is the figure of the terminal spore, the cortex, core, cortex, and the spore core. Now the host factors. Number one is the age. Tetanus is the disease of active age for up to 40 years and the newborns, which is also known as the neonatal tetanus, and it also affects the females during the delivery or abortion, called the puerperal tetanus. The incidence of the disease is more in males as compared to the females, but the females are more prone to tetanus during their delivery or abortion. The sensitivity of the tetanus toxin is more in males as compared to females. When we look at the occupation, agricultural workers are at high risk of getting the tetanus infection due to their continuous exposure to the soil. The incidence of the tetanus is more in rural areas as compared to urban areas. And when we look at the immunity, two injections of the tetanus toxoid is highly effective and lasts for several years. Immunity lasting for less than 6 months also transferred to the babies if the mother is immunized. Environmental factors. Densely populated areas, hot, damp climates with the soil rich in organic matter, environmental factors compounded with the social factors like the unhygienic custom habits, animal dung, dust to the wound, unhygienic delivery practices, unsterilized instruments for cutting code, and ignorance of the infection. Here's the figure which shows the graph between about the on number of the cases of neonatal tetanus in the Dadu district, Pakistan. The incidence of the disease increases at the end of the July and its peak level during the September, and then it starts to decline over the month of October and November. It is correlated with the start of the monsoon season at the end of July and leads to peak of the incident rate in the September season, month. Now the chain of transmission, reservoir, source, and mode of transmission. Reservoir. Organisms are found primarily in the soil, intestinal tracts of the animals, and the intestine of the humans. Source of infection in any infected soil, street dust, fresh vegetables, fruits, clothes, or any other product. Modes of transmission. It is primarily transmitted by the range of the injuries or the accidents like tissue injury, pinprick, skin abrasion, surgery, burns, deep puncture wounds, and crush wounds. And the infections like otitis media, dental infections, eye infection, animal bites, abortion, and pregnancy. Tetanus is not contagious from person to person. It is the only vaccine preventable disease that is infectious but not contagious. Incubation period. Its range is about 3 to 21 days, average 8 days. Shorter the incubation period, the more serious and fatal will be the result of the disease. In the neonatal tetanus, symptoms usually appear from 4 to 14 days after birth, average about 7 days. Now the pathogenesis. Introduction of the spores or any wound leads to its germination in the anaerobic environment, then elaboration of the exotoxin, tetraspasmin, which binds to the receptor along the motor neurons and blocks the inhibitor impulses. Inhibition of the inhibitor impulses lead to continuous stimulation by the excitatory transmitters and lead to unopposed muscle contraction and spasms. Now the clinical forms. There are 3 clinical forms of the tetanus: local, cephalic, and generalized. Local is an uncommon form because the local muscle spasms surrounding the region of the wound precedes the onset of generalized tetanus, but is generally mild. Only about 1% of the cases are fatal. Number second is the cephalic tetanus, which is also a rare form caused by the otitis media or any injuries to the head. It leads to the involvement of cranial nerves, especially in the facial areas, and may progress to the generalized tetanus. Generalized tetanus, most common type, about 80%, and it usually presents with a descending pattern from the lockjaw to the difficulty in swallowing and muscles rigidity and spasm. Neonatal tetanus is a form of generalized tetanus. Clinical features like lockjaw, stiff neck, difficulty in swallowing, muscles rigidity, and spasm. Here the figures will show the clinical features like the lockjaw caused by the spasm of the masseter muscle and the ischus sardonicus caused by the spasm of the muscles of the cheeks. Spasm of muscles of back and neck and extremities leads to opisthotonus in the patient's neck rigidity and retraction. Spasm of muscles in the respiratory tract and the larynx leads to respiratory obstruction, cyanosis, and asphyxia. Any stimulation like tactile, auditory, or visual can lead to the generalized spasm in these patients for a variable duration. Types of tetanus. Traumatic. Trauma is the most important and major cause of the tetanus. Puerperal. Abortic, post-abortic uterus is the most favorable site for the tetanus. It is therefore more frequent after abortion than the normal delivery. Autogenic is the rare portal of entry, but the foreign bodies can introduce the infection. Idiopathic. In idiopathic tetanus, there is no definite history of any trauma or injury. There are some views about the cause of the idiopathic tetanus. First view is that it may be due to some microscopic trauma, or second view about the cause is that it may be due to some absorption of the tetanus toxin from the intestine, And the third view about this is it may be due to the inhalation of tetanus spores. Next is the tetanus neonatorium. In most common cause of the tetanus neonatorium is the unserialized delivery practices, cutting of the umbilical cord, and the care of the stump. It is also known as the 8th day disease because most frequently the signs and symptoms appear after the 7th day. Complications: laryngeal swabs, nosocomial infections, aspiration pneumonia, pulmonary embolism, fractures, hypertension, and lead to death. Now the levels of prevention: primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention. First, we will discuss the primary prevention. Primary prevention involves the health education and specific protection. In health education, we can educate the people and emphasize over the EPI schedule, following the EPI schedule of the vaccination. And by training the guys in the rural healthcare about the 5 cleans, like clean hands, clean delivery practices, clean cord care, clean tie of the cord, and to no application over the cord stump. And the specific protection involves the immunization, vaccination. First of all, we discuss the vaccine history. Calendar Raton in 1884 was the first who produced the tetanus in the animals by injecting them from the pus from a human case. During the same year, Nicolet produced the tetanus in animals by injecting them from the sample of the soil. And in 1889, Catestor isolated the organism from the human victim and produced the disease in the animals. He also reported that the toxin could be neutralized by the specific antibodies. In 1897, Noguer demonstrated that the protective effect of passively transmitted antitoxins and the passive immunization in the humans, and then the passive immunization and prophylaxis against the tetanus was used during the World War I. While in 1920, Roman inactivated the tetanus toxin with formaldehyde, which led to the tetanus toxoid production in 1924 by Descombe. Tetanus toxoid was first widely used during the World War II. Immunization in tetanus is about active, passive, and active and passive immunization. In the primary prevention, we discuss the active immunization, and passive immunization will be discussed in the secondary prevention. Active immunization. The aim of active immunization is to vaccine the entire community and ensure a protective level of 0.01 international units per ml of serum throughout the life. There are 2 preparations available for the active immunization. Number 1 is the combined vaccination, and number 2 is monovalent vaccine. We'll discuss the monovalent vaccines, tetanus toxoid. There are 2 types of the toxoid available. Number 1 is absorbed, aluminium salt precipitated toxoid, or the fluid toxoid. Rates of seroconversion of these both are equal, but the absorbed toxoid is preferable over the fluid because of the higher and the long-lasting immunity provided by the absorbed toxoid. Vaccine is a turbid liquid, grayish-white in color. It is a suspension of alum precipitated aluminum potassium sulfate oxide in an isotonic sodium chloride solution containing sodium phosphate buffer to control the pH. Each 0.5 ml dose is formulated to contain 5 flocculation units of tetanus toxoid. The vaccine is stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. Freezing reduces the potency of tetanus. Vaccine exposed to freezing temperature should not be administered. The routine DTaP primary vaccination schedule is primary first dose at the age of 2 months, and the second dose at the age of 4 months, after the interval of 4 weeks, and the third dose at the age of 6 months after the interval of 4 weeks. Booster dose first is at 14 to 16 months, and second at the 4 to 6 years of age, and then after every 10 years, TD vaccination is given. People of all ages need the tetanus vaccination. DTaP for the young children, as we have discussed earlier, at 2, 4, and 6 months, 15 to 18 months, and then 4 to 6 years. And Tdap for the teenagers at 11 to 12 years. TD or Tdap for adults every 10 years. This is the APA schedule which we are following in the Pakistan. That tetanus is given in pentavalent vaccine at the 6 weeks, 10 weeks, or 14 weeks, or the 2, 4, and 6 months. Contraindications of tetanus toxoid. Severe allergic reactions to the previous dose of the tetanus toxoid, or the moderate or severe acute illnesses. Adverse reactions, like it can lead to the local reactions, edema, induration. Fever and systemic symptoms are very rare, and it can also lead to exaggerated local reactions like the orthocide, which is a type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. Secondary prevention. Secondary prevention involves the early diagnosis and the prompt treatment. The diagnosis of the tetanus is mainly the clinical base, like the signs and symptoms, itis sardonicus, lockjaw, opisthotonus, and the neck rigidity, spasms. Treatment. Treatment involves the medical management and the wound management. Medical management. Medical management, first of all, we will provide the supportive care until the tetanus spasmin that is fixed in the tissues has been metabolized. Supportive care in the form of treatment of muscular spasm and to prevent the respiratory complications and the prevention of metabolic complications. Second is the neutralization of the circulating toxins to prevent the continuous spread. And third, the elimination of the source of toxin. Antibiotics should be given as soon as the 6 hours after the injury. And we can give penicillin 1.2 mega units. If anyone is allergic to the penicillin, the alternative is the erythromycin 500 milligrams 6 hourly for 7 days. Passive immunization. Passive immunization can be given is available in 2 forms, like the human tetanus hyperimmunoglobulins and the equine antitoxins. The dose of human tetanus hyperimmunoglobulins is 250 to 500 international units, and the equine antitoxin is 1500 international units. Human hyperimmunoglobulins causes no anaphylactic reactions, very safe and very costly. But it provides a longer passive protection up to 30 days. On the other hand, equine antitoxins causes the allergic reactions varying in severity from rash to anaphylactic reactions. It stimulates the formation of antibodies to it, and it causes the passive protection for about 7 to 10 days. Active and passive immunization. If the person having the injury is non-immune, 1500 units of antitoxin or the 250 units of human hyperimmunoglobulins in one arm or the gluteal region and 0.5 ml of the tetanus toxoid in the other arm or the gluteal region is given. Wound management. All the wounds should be cleaned with hydrogen peroxide and antiseptics. Necrotic tissues and the foreign materials should be removed. There are 2 types of the wounds. We divide the wound categories into 2 types, like the wounds with less than 6 hours old, clean, non-penetrating, and with the negligible tissue damage, and all other wounds in the second category. If the patient is having the wound which is clean, non-penetrating, then the treatment options depend upon the immune category. We divide the immune category into 4 types. A is that in which the person has completed the course of toxoid and the booster within the past 5 years. And the category B is that patient has completed the course of toxoid and the booster dose more than 5 years but less than 10 years ago. And category C, in which the patient had completed the course of toxoid and the booster dose more than 10 years ago. Category D has completed the course of toxoid or immunity status, but we don't know about its status, unknown area or the incomplete course of the toxoid. Then on the basis of this immune category, the treatment options are, if the patient is in the category A, nothing more is required. If the patient is in the category B, we can give the toxoid dose 1 dose. Category C also give the 1 dose of the toxoid. But if the patient status is unknown and has not completed the course of toxoid, then the complete toxoid course is given. On the other hand, if the all other wounds other than these wounds, immune category, if the patient is in the immune category A, nothing more is required. But when the patient is immune category B, we can give 1 dose of the toxoid. In immune category C, 1 toxoid dose plus the human hyperimmunoglobulins are given. And in immune category C, complete course plus the human hyperimmunoglobulins. Neonatal tetanus. Neonatal tetanus is the leading cause of the neonatal mortality. It is easily preventable by 2 tetanus toxoid injections during the pregnancy and the complete aseptic deliveries. 2 major programs are in operation for the prevention of neonatal tetanus in the country. The immunization of the pregnant women with the tetanus vaccine under the EPI schedule and the training of the DIEs under the rural health program, like we have discussed earlier, 5 cleans: clean hands, clean septic deliveries, clean cord care, clean tie of the cord, and then no application of the cord stump. Prevention of the neonatal tetanus. 2 doses of the TT in all pregnant women between 16 to 36 weeks of the pregnancy with an interval of 1 to 2 months between the 2 doses. The first dose as early as possible and the second dose a month later, preferably 3 weeks before delivery. If the pregnant woman is not immunized, then the newborn should be protected against the tetanus by giving the human immunoglobulins 750 international units within the 6 hours of birth. Tertiary prevention involves the prevention of complications and deaths. Surveillance of neonatal tetanus. WHO recommends the surveillance standard of the neonatal tetanus. Elimination is defined as that less than one neonatal case per 1,000 live births at the district level per year. Recommended case definitions for the surveillance: suspected case, any neonatal death between 3 to 28 days of the age in which the cause of death is unknown, or any neonate reported as having suffered from neonatal tetanus between 3 to 28 days of age and not investigated. The definition of the confirmed case: any neonate with normal ability to suck and cry during the first 2 days of life and who between 3 to 28 days of age cannot suck normally and becomes stiff or has spasms. Recommended types of surveillance. Number 1 is the routine monthly surveillance. Number 2, zero reporting. Number 3 is the active surveillance. Number 4 is the retrospective record review. Routine monthly surveillance is the number of the confirmed neonatal cases should be included in all routine reports. Zero reporting is designated reporting all sites to report at the specific frequency, even if there are no cases. Active surveillance involves to visit all the major health facilities and to identify any cases admitted or diagnosed in the hospital. Retrospective record review: major hospital records should be reviewed for neonatal cases at least once annually in major hospitals. This figure shows the trends in the annual neonatal reported cases and the 2 doses of the tetanus toxoid coverage in Pakistan. The number of the cases are decreased from 1100 to 500 in the 2010, while the coverage of the vaccination from 1990 to the 2008 and to the 1999 is increased from approximately 20%. From 1999 to 2008, it started to decline again reached to the level of the 50% in 2008. After 2008 to up to 2010, it leads to the coverage of the tetanus toxoid vaccination in pregnancy up to 75%. This graph shows the number of neonatal tetanus cases per million population from 1980 to 2015 in Pakistan. It shows the trend that 14 cases per million in 1980 decreased to the level of 3 cases per million in 2015 in Pakistan. WHO estimates that in 2018, 25,000 newborns died from the neonatal tetanus, 88% reduction from the situation in 2000 figure of 2 lakh. Maternal and neonatal tetanus. WHO estimated that 7,87,000 newborns have died as a result of maternal and neonatal tetanus in 1988. By the year 2015, this number has been reduced by 96% to 34,019 deaths. Deaths from tetanus from the year 1990 to 2017 in the whole world. In 1990, 3,14,000 people died due to tetanus, while in 2017 they are just slightly over 38,000 deaths. That leads to the reduction of about 88%. This graph shows the deaths from the tetanus by the age in the whole world from the period 1990 to 2017. The proportion of the cases in the children has fallen from 76% in 1990 to just half the below 49% in 2017. This graph shows the number of new tetanus infections by the world world region 1990 to 2017. Majority of the new cases of the tetanus occurs in the South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, account for about 82% of all the tetanus cases globally, 77% of all deaths from tetanus, and 29,500 lives lost occurs in the South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. In just 3 decades, the incidence rate has fallen 14-fold from close 500,000 cases in 1990 to 33,000 in 2017. New tetanus cases by the country. By the year 2017, Pakistan had rates of infection 4.76 per million, when by the year 2017, just 2 countries, South Sudan and Somalia, had the rate of tetanus cases greater than 10 per 100,000 people. Maternal and neonatal tetanus elimination. The initiative aim of this maternal and neonatal tetanus elimination is to reduce the cases to such a low level that the disease is no longer a major health problem. Elimination is defined as less than 1 case of neonatal tetanus per 1,000 live births in every district per year. Maternal tetanus is considered eliminated when the neonatal tetanus is eliminated. In 1989, World Health Assembly called for the elimination of neonatal tetanus by 1995. But by the year 2000, 104 of 161 developing countries have achieved elimination. Elimination in the remaining 47 countries to date, leaving just 12 at risk in Afghanistan, Angola, Central African Republic, Guinea, Mali, Nigeria, Pakistan, Papua New Guinea, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Yemen. Pakistan and maternal and neonatal tetanus elimination in Pakistan. Pakistan has set the target to eliminate maternal and neonatal tetanus by the year 2015. Pakistan sets a national plan for the immunization that adopted the high-risk approach. Pakistan has made good progress in increasing the tetanus vaccination coverage from 60% in 1999 to 74% by the end of 2010 since the high-risk approach strategy adopted. As of the February 2020, Pakistan is one of the 12 countries that have not achieved the maternal and neonatal tetanus elimination. Pakistan's Punjab province, home to more than 50% of the population, has already declared elimination. Sindh province is likely to be the next to achieve the elimination status. WHO and UNICEF recommends on replacing the TT vaccination with TD vaccination in the countries to complete the process by January 2020. This was recommended after the diphtheria outbreak occurs in 2017 and 2018 in the growing number of the countries, including Bangladesh, Indonesia, Kenya, Philippines, South Africa, Yemen, and many others. WHO and UNICEF highlighted that the replacement of TT vaccine with TD will boost the diphtheria immunity in addition to assuring the tetanus protection and helps to complete the diphtheria outbreak. There are no problematic implications as the formulation, storage, target, schedule, mode of service, delivery remains unchanged. It is highly cost effective. TD vaccine is WHO pre-qualified since 1995. Here are the references of this presentation. Thank you. Now the MCQ section. Which one of the following is infectious but not a contagious disease? Diphtheria,
C.
corona,
Tetanus.
tetanus.
C.
Tetanus.
Tetanus.
Which pathogen causes tetanus?
Clostridium tetani.
C.
Clostridium.
Clostridium tetani.
Normal incubation period of tetanus.
3 to
B.
21 days.
B. 3 to 21 days.
Which part of the body does the tetanus affect the most?
B. Nerve and
Skin.
skeletal muscle.
Affect the most. हाँ ठीक है.
D.
B. Increased appetite.
जी ठीक है. A tetanus-prone wound would include one puncture wound by contaminated soil, foreign body cut.
A.
Each 0.5 ml dose of vaccine is formulated to contain 5 flocculation units, 7 flocculation units, and 4 or
5. A.
A.
human tetanus immunoglobulins provide
A.
yes.
A. 30 days.
जी. Clostridium tetani spores are best destroyed by
B.
A. A.
B.
B. 20 minutes.
20 minutes. 120 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. The adjuvant
Aluminium.
B. Aluminium.
B. Aluminium.
aluminium. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It is a good presentation. We have very short time. I think we again have to re-click this link for the discussion. So I am ending this meeting, and we would start with the MCQs first. We would discuss the MCQs, then we would go for the rest of the discussion. So I'm closing this meeting, and please rejoin the same link.
Okay, ma'am.